All right, folks, welcome. Welcome to my page. Welcome to my channel. I'm back. So much going on. I don't even know where to start. I got so much to share with you folks, and I'm going to be putting out a couple more videos to talk about kind of like the correlation between the sex trafficking stuff that's come up on the American front, and then like how that ties in. Also going to do a video on the kids being missing and no one's paying attention to the children missing. Just going to do a direct video. I've been asking several people out there in this army for Kate if they would cover the children being missing, and so far no one seems interested, so I guess I'll just do it. That'll be like my next video or the one right after. But why don't we go ahead and zoom in here? Hold on one moment. All right, hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing. And what we see here is this video is just going to be a little bit of, I was getting some messages that I needed to go back again. There was a ghost I had covered in a previous talk. I think it was my last video. And that ghost came back and just wanted to clarify some things. And I said, okay. I mean, I didn't necessarily want to go back and revisit the stuff with the ghost. It didn't really seem that important to me. But he wanted to clarify some stuff. And when you talk to ghosts, it's hard not to listen when they want to chat. So anyway, I included his piece at the end. So if you're not into the ghost stuff, I would suggest like maybe just stay on for this Prince William part, and then we'll just say goodbye. And for those that are interested in revisiting a ghost that I spoke about in my last video, then keep on the video and listen about the ghost. All right. So the message I was getting was that Prince William, kind of like how we talked about before, that these royals, they have like they're considered to be like special blood, special royal blood, right? So to be the mistress or the equivalent for a woman, right, is kind of like an honor for the royalty, like to do that for the royalty, like you would be honored to be the mistress, or you would be honored to have the baby of the prince or the king. Does that make sense? Anyway, so right now we have Iris, that is William's supposed baby with Rose Hanbury. Then there's the rumor that Rose Hanbury is pregnant again and is going to have the baby, and that's William's baby too. She's currently pregnant, reportedly. This is just rumors, but this is what's been told. And then there are potentially two other children that I have come across that I was getting a message about. One of them very strong, and I don't know about the other one, but I think Princess Kate, if we look at that photo, I think that some of those photos were edited with AI from the Christmas, but there were some candid ones of Princess Kate. I don't know if you all recall, but I had asked some of you for homework to go back, see if there was any AI in the Christmas photos. I think it was at the church or something, maybe Sandringham, I don't know. But they were there, and there were photos of her, and she looked miserable, like she had found out something, like something bad was going to happen. She just looked miserable, like she was going to be sacrificed in a satanic death ritual with her children, like I don't know, but she just looked down, right? And that was on Christmas. Those are the last photos we have of her. Anyway, all right, let's move forward. So this is going to be a little strange. You may not think that there's any truth to this. I don't want to think there's any truth to this, but I just want you to remember that these royals, like, they are mean and evil to one another and to others. So there's the image, like the act, like you're an actor and you go out and you do your bit for the monarchy to stay in power after raping and pillaging all those years and keep that wealth and riches, right? So you go out there and you act, you smile for the camera, you act like you're a Christian, what have you, right? But then behind the scenes, they're killing and murdering and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? Having children out of wedlock. So this lady, Chelsea Davy, is the ex of Harry, right? And William, I believe, is absolutely bonkers, right? That he is a control freak. He is a man who has a vengeance and a temper. I believe he may have a killing streak. I believe it may relate to Prince Philip having mentored him and schooled him as kind of like the police officer for the family, if you will. There were a lot of allegations that Prince Philip had off Diana and had done a lot of other mean, crazy, seedy stuff throughout time. There's some murders I'm going to cover in some future episodes and stuff that might be related to Philip. I just started investigating. So, my point is um you have to really see William as a mentally ill, like control freak who has a temper and has like domestic violence tendencies. Like, try to see that image of him, that he is so spiteful and so mean and vindictive, right? Like, he's denying Harry and Meghan access to security, even though Andrew has security, right? Andrew gets security even though he's not a working royal. We covered that in my first video. So, would William have had a child out of spite, was my question to the crowd. And I just want you to think about that for a minute. Like, people are willing to have children with the royals, right? They want that royal blood. It's like some kind of honor because they've been ingrained in that system. They think that it means something, right? They think these people are special. So, someone would likely have a child with William if he offered, right? And even though I think Rose is kind of like his main flame, I think that he's kept busy with other ladies over the years. Rose seems very bohemian. She's probably very polyamorous, doesn't really care if he messes around with other women, doesn't have a lot of like ownership over his body, gives him a freedom he doesn't have with Kate. Now, you all know that I think Kate and the children are dead, but anyway. So the thing that I wanted to bring up was Chelsea Davy had a baby in 2022. And no one in the media knew that she was going to have a baby. And then the strange part of it was um it's just an idea, right? Um it's just an idea, but I don't know if William would be so crazy as to go to Harry's ex-girlfriend and try to have a baby, because it sounds like she had a baby boy and no one knew she was pregnant. She's not with anyone, that kind of thing. But would William be so mentally ill or just insane with rage and vengeance that he would go to Harry's ex-girlfriend and get her pregnant just to hurt Harry, just so that Harry knew that he did that, right? Like, kind of like an ownership thing, like, I fucked your ex-girlfriend, right? So it's just something to think about. Just want to put it out there, just kind of having some thoughts about this Chelsea Davy pregnancy. What's that all about? And if William would do something that crazy just to hurt Harry, like, I don't know, right? So then the other lady I wanted to talk about was Jekka Craig, right? She had a secret baby, right, in either late 2015 or early 2016. Now, Prince William, in um, around Easter of 2016, he traveled solo to Kenya, right, for Jekka's wedding, right? And this was like before anyone knew about that pregnancy, because she had the pregnancy and delivered the baby secretly before she got pregnant. What what was going on with that pregnancy, for her to keep it secret. And then what's crazy is no one can find like pictures of the child. Now that makes me think that William was the father, right? Because normally you can find pictures of a child of like a famous person online, but William has a lot of control over the media, and I just get the feeling that he has blocked the access for finding pictures of that child. If anyone can find pictures of that child, true pictures, that would be Jekka Craig's son, and that child was born late to 2015 or early 2016. Now, yeah, so this is Jekka Craig in these pictures when she was dating him, and then maybe like right after, but it sounds like they stayed on good terms. So this is just like some conjecture, but I just want you to understand, like, to have a child with a royal is an honor, because then you're carrying the prince's blood in your line for all eternity. Do you get it? It's kind of like the people in England and so forth, they are ingrained to really see the royalty as like closer to God than like the normal person. Even if they're thieves, robbers, rapists, it doesn't matter. They're seen like they're just golden, right? Except now when we're kind of at this stage where we're like challenging monarchies, challenging sex trafficking, predatory like systems, and systems are breaking down. In my previous video, I talked about how the time that we're in, the astrology is really about breaking down institutions. Right, right. So this child was born before her marriage and is not the child of Jonathan Bailey, her husband. So I just get a yes. This one I definitely get a yes. That little boy is Williams. I mean, maybe Kate was upset and looked haggard and sad because she was going to go home for a beating. Maybe she just found out that Rose Hambury was pregnant, and she knew her husband's character enough to know that he was just going to do something crazy. That like he was going to want to be with that family and want those children to be heirs no matter what. Like maybe that's why she looked so petrified. She looked petrified, and she looked um like she was ruminating on Christmas. I could pull up that photo again, but it's easy to find it. It's in the church. It's like a close up of her face, not when she's smiling for the cameras, not when she's doing her duty or William's going to beat her or something. All right, this guy, Eddie. Eddie is back. I'm just going to call him Eddie. I found out his nickname is Eddie. I don't even know these ghosts. They just come to me, right? This was the guy I was talking about last time in my last video. And what is so crazy to me is like, I don't know, he seems like, I don't know, he might be a nice guy or an interesting character. Like, I just don't know. But so far he's been coming back, and he said, yeah, appreciate that you covered a little bit about the Jack the Ripper stuff, because that kind of got pinned on him. People kind of think he was somehow associated with that. I was telling you guys we should start the Jack the Ripper 2.0 effort, because that's where we're at now, right? Jack the Ripper was like the English institution, the royals in general doing whatever they want. Now they're going to try it again, right? But it's like Army for Kate fighting back. So Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale, he was the third in line to the throne, but he was pretty much being groomed for the throne, because as far as I can figure it out, he was like the grandson of Queen Victoria. Anyway, so he was being groomed for the throne, and there was just something so odd about this. Like, just entertain me for a second. If we believe that Kate Middleton was murdered around December 28th, well, that would have been near her birthday, right? This guy also died right around his birthday. and he died right around his birthday at Sandringham. So for me, it's just like suspicious. It's like, is there like, I'm just thinking outside the box here, but please don't think I'm crazy, but is there like some weird satanic ritual where they like take people out around their birthday at Sandringham? Like, I don't know. Might sound crazy. Anyway, he was clearly a gay from everything that I can read about him, right? And it sounded like he was involved in this Cleveland Street gay brothel scandal. Now imagine someone who is like third in line to the throne, and basically when his dad dies and when his grandma dies, like it's all on him, right? But they don't want a gay king. And I had talked about how this revolution we're in now is like for the domestic violence victim, for those people that are called crazy, that are like the new press on TikTok. It's like the new TikTok democracy, right? But I also said that I felt like there was some energy here about blowing open like who's gay, who's not, like P. Diddy, stuff like that. Like we're finding out Rose Hanbury's husband is gay, right? Like why can't these people in like royal circles come out, right? So this guy's saying as a ghost, like, hey, include me in your gay, like your scrutiny of killing off the gays in the family. Like basically you're gonna get killed off if you're gay, if you want to marry a divorcee. I don't know what the other reasons are. Maybe they just poison you sometimes because they want the throne, they want to remarry, whatever the deal is, right? So I just want people to understand the killing that is just so common, so that maybe in some respects, if we find out that William did it, or we all think he did it, and the children are gone and Kate's gone, then like we'll have some sympathy because we'll be like, man, he grew up in this environment where people were killing each other left and right, like it's look, the Game of Thrones, right? So anyway, he was on his way to being the king, right? But he was also causing trouble. And the Cleveland Street gay brothel scandal was in July of 1889. And so they were really struggling to keep him under control. They sent him on a tour to India to get rid of him and all his gay antics around the palace, around places where people would talk and gossip, right? So he got exposed in July of 1889 for being a big old gay, right? Then in October, the family's like, we're sending you away to the military, right? We're just going to send you on a tour to India, right? Um, let's see here. Year was that? 1889. 1889 to 1890. All right. So 1890, he comes back from India, right? And they're like, well, we're going to marry you to Princess Victoria, right? And that was after two failed courtships. Well, because they were trying to marry him off to a woman, obviously. And then in their third attempt to get this fucker married off, right? Because he's probably screwing up left and right, like sleeping with men and doing stuff. And they probably just couldn't get him to buckle down and be part of these marriages if he's already like bungled two of them, right? Because it's pretty much arranged marriages in the British royal family. So when when he was like about to turn 28, I think about, he supposedly died of a major flu pandemic, right? But you never know what happened again at Sandringham, right? Um, so anyway, my point is that he probably was back hanging out at the Cleveland Street brothel or some other brothel that was for homosexuals, and they just thought like he just can't stop being gay, right? They just came to the realization. But also you have to understand, if he was um in the way of the throne, like they don't want a gay on the throne anyway, it's too much of a controversy. But like also King George could have killed him because he wanted the throne. I just don't know. I'm just feeling like he was killed. That's the message he wanted me to relay. So if I'm just relaying what he's saying he was killed and he's upset about it because he feels like it relates to being gay. And sounds like what he's saying is that his brother, King George V, was involved with that. So then I started thinking about it and I found this crazy thing, right? This crazy article where Queen Victoria, now that would be the grandmother of Eddie that we were just talking about, the gay one that got offed, in my opinion, and in his opinion, right? So she said after her husband died, that would be Prince Albert, right? That supposedly she blamed her son for killing Prince Albert. Now that would be her husband, right? So killing him effectively like renders his mother into a state of mourning where she like really retreated from public life. Maybe it gave George a chance to take over, right? And his mom kind of retired a lot and he got to take over. But I thought this was a strange expression to find because I've talked before about how you find like royal speaking and what they're saying, or like the butler for Diana or for whatever, when he said that the queen let Philip get away with murder, and then Princess Kate had said if she had another baby that William would kill her. I think that when we see these words, like they literally mean kill. When they say kill, they mean kill, but we don't know they mean kill. So when this article was saying that Queen Victoria blamed her son for killing Prince Albert, that would have been her husband, I'm thinking like, oh, she's mad, right? Because even though she understands it's a bloodthirsty culture and people are offing one another left and right, she's still mad, right, that he killed her husband. But at the same time, like, you don't hold it against these people. Like, you might have a grudge, like, oh, you killed my wife, you killed my husband, you killed my kid, right? But they don't like really do anything about it, or maybe they do stuff behind the scenes, but they don't go to normal justice because normal justice does not apply to them. So anyway, I get the feeling that maybe George killed his father and his brother. So the other thing I wanted to look into is like, I don't know if there's like a ritual or a vortex, satanic cult, something like, is there some kind of weird ceremony that happens at Sandringham? Because like, I actually forgot to include Eddie on this list. So Eddie, who is 28, who was the in line for the throne before George the Fifth, who um who uh who took over for him when he died in terms of taking on being the king. I don't know, man. I just thought it was interesting. Like Queen Elizabeth didn't die at Sandringham, but Eddie died at Sandringham, a suspicious death. Kate and the children possibly died at Sandringham, again, a suspicious death. George, Queen Elizabeth's father. Now, his death was not so suspicious, but sounds like he was taking lots of drugs maybe at the end. Um, George V, I believe, is a different king, the one that was Albert's brother. Sorry, Eddie's brother. The one that I said might have killed his father and his brother. He died at Sandringham. I don't know offhand what he died of. And then Queen Alexandra died also at Sandringham. So I don't know if there is something associated with death, because like I said, Eddie as well, who is in succession for the throne. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 if we include Kate and the children. But I don't know that we'll ever find their bodies. All right, I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to get going on those next videos. You're going to really enjoy them. They're going to be great. We're going to be talking about the kids, the missing kids, the timeline, the nanny, all of it, right? And then we're going to break it all down for another video about sex trafficking, Diddy, the royal family, how it's all connected, how things are happening on a larger scale. Madam Mitzvah had talked before about systems breaking down. It's not just the royals that are going to come under scrutiny. So stay tuned.